What's going on, you guys? Halo Drama here, and I am joined with Waverly Frontman.
Yo.
Not recording any zombie videos this time. This time we're going to do something different because you guys, anybody who watches my videos, like I said, I greatly appreciate it. But as you guys have noticed, I've been posting my Magic the Gathering decks lately, and Waverly Frontman here also plays Magic. So I thought it would be a fun idea for us to get together and go to EDHREC. For those who don't know what EDHREC is, it's a website that's based around Magic the Gathering and the Commander format. There's all kinds of tips and tricks and deck text that you can find on here and whatnot. But, one feature that I like is that they have a button where you can hit random, and it will just show you a random legendary creature. And I thought it would be fun for Waverly and I to come on EDHREC, hit random, see what card pops up, and then just generally talk about like how we would work this deck and what we might throw in it, what kind of mechanics we might use if we were building around said commander. We're not. Don't get me wrong. We're not going to go through like the whole 99 cards or anything like this. Just general rough estimate or whatever you want to call it, as in like what we would do to build around this deck. Notice I say that with like the parentheses beside it. We, like as in this is our opinion. If you have a different opinion on how you would build the deck and what you would put it, that's completely fine because everybody plays this game differently. I guarantee you if 4 people sat down and they all had the same commander, all 4 of their decks would be built differently around that commander because everybody's ideas are different. And that's what makes the game fun. So, I guess that's the intro. So, let's get into it. I'm going to hit random.
Right on.
And we will see that the first commander, and I'm actually very familiar with this. And matter of fact, we were talking about doing this that way it can be shown better on the front page. You can't see that, right?
Yep, I can.
And the first one that we put up is a Farah, God of the Polis, whatever. Costs 2 and Azorius. It's a 6/5 legendary enchantment creature. God is indestructible. As long as your devotion to white and blue is less than 7, a Farah isn't a creature. For those who don't know what devotion is, it's looking at it's checking your permanents that are on the board. And since this is devotion for white and blue, it's checking your permanents for the white and blue mana symbols that are on your cards. So you'd have to have at least enough permanents on the board that the white and blue mana symbols equal up to 7 for this particular creature, or for this particular enchantment to become a creature. But
specifically in the mana costs, though, it's looking.
Yes. And it has an ability at the beginning of each upkeep. If you had another creature enter the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card. Even when these Born of the Gods and Theros sets and stuff were coming out, I honestly always thought that a Pharaoh was one of the on the lower tier of the gods. At the beginning of each upkeep, if you had another creature into the battlefield under your control last turn, draw a card. So, if you're building a deck around this particular commander's ability, it has to either be a creature-heavy deck, or it has to be at least token producing. Because if you're building the deck around this particular commander and it's in her ability, or he, you can't be too careful nowadays with these pronouns, but if you're building around this commander's ability, the idea that I have is that you have to have a creature enter every single one of your turns. Somehow. I have another idea about how you could do this, but I'm going to wait and let Waverly put his take in on it. That way I don't take up all the time myself.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's your cue, buddy.
Yeah, that's where I come in.
Right.
But yeah, like you were saying, definitely the token aspect. I was thinking of a few things. I can't think of the names right offhand, but there's some enchantments and artifacts that create tokens each turn or when you do certain things, and obviously there's landfall triggers that could get you creatures as well.
Yeah.
You could definitely have an extra card draw on each of your turns. I mean, like you were saying, it's not the most impressive of the gods in the Theros block, or otherwise for that matter.
Or otherwise, for that matter. I was just
But
thinking that.
I could see something with this. You're obviously not going to combo off with it or anything because it's draw a card. It's cut and dried. You're
Right.
not really getting that far ahead. Although it is a 6/5 creature that's a commander, you could play this in the sense of using that second ability as a secondary thing
Right.
and say throw some enchantments in this thing, auras and such. Make
Yeah.
this thing big as shit, swing your commander in, it's indestructible.
Right. Yeah, get this thing, something like, what is it? It's Sarah's blood. I think it's Sarah's blessing. The enchantment, just to have all your creatures vigilance.
Yeah.
Something to give it vigilance, and if it's a creature, it's indestructible. Just swing every fucking turn.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
And then there was that one aura I used that was Azorius colors, where you enchant the creature, it puts 1/1 counters on it, I think, and then you can pay and return it to your hand, and keep doing that.
right. That was actually another thing that I was gonna think of. Say if you have a turn where you don't have a creature that you can put on the battlefield that turn. Hopefully, you have
Mhm.
something in your card that can flicker or blink one of your creatures.
Good call, yeah.
Especially, and the thing about it is, it could be any creature. It doesn't necessarily have to be like one of your creatures that produced a token, because even if you had 5 creatures into, you're still only gonna draw 1 card.
Yeah. You could throw like some, was it Flicker Wisp? And
Flicker Wisp,
some of
yeah.
those cards in there.
Cloud Shift. Remember,
Yeah.
I used to use all those cards in that old Golem deck that I had, producing a shitload of Golem tokens with the Splicers.
Yep, and it was in the same colors as well.
It was it was definitely an Azorius deck, because there's what's the one? It's the Restoration Angel. Because the Restoration Angel has ways to combo off with a lot of cards, especially Kiki Jiki. But Kiki Jiki's red, so that's an entirely different conversation. But yeah, cards like that, they come in and yeah, you blink something. Well, you know what? Wait. We can't really count Flicker Wisp and Restoration Angel because those are already creatures entering anyway.
True. I was more thinking along the lines of those effects.
Like we said, yeah, like the cloud shifts and things like that that'll blink your creature. And there's even the one. Remember, I had the one. It was an Azorius creature. It was only a 1/1, so that made it very vulnerable. It had a pay 2 and Azorius. I think it was 2 hybrid, and you could flicker something.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember what it's called, but it's a 1/1 Azorius creature. Yeah, you pay 2 and 2 Azorius hybrids, I think it was, and you could flicker a creature. So even
I think I vaguely know what you're talking about.
yeah, so even if you had no creature to cast, you at least have something that you can bounce one out, and put it back onto the battlefield because it would still count as entering the battlefield. So that's my take on that. And another thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna try, in our opinion again, rate them as a commander, not as a card, as a commander on a scale of 1 to 10. And me personally, like I played this game heavily. I got out of it for a while, but I played it heavily. Still heavily when this block came out and all the gods came out. Because I remember at one time I owned every single god except for Karanos. But as a commander, man, it's too bad it doesn't say that you can draw a card for each creature that entered the battlefield last turn. That'd be nice. But man, I'd have to give this like a 3.
Yeah, I'll be a little bit more generous. I'll go with a 4. Just because of the fact that it's a big 6/5 indestructible if you can get its devotion.
Honestly, that's why I didn't go below 3. Was for that exact same reason. It is still a 6/5 indestructible creature if you can get it up there. And if you can get it vigilance, it's on and popping. Just keep swinging.
Right.
But, alright, we're going to move on to the next one. We're going to try and maybe do 2 or 3 cards per episode, if that's what you want to call it, if that's how we're going to do it. Yeah, try to get to the point as fast as possible. But alright, random. And, we got an Is That one. Open a new tab. We have, Ager, whatever. He looks mad. The Freezing Flame costs 1, and Izzet is a 3/3 legendary creature giant wizard. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage, if a giant, wizard, or spell you control dealt damage to it this turn, draw a card. I'm not gonna lie, I'm reading that again in my head. Whenever a creature or planeswalker, and then I started reading it out loud. You know, we won't talk about that. I have 420 already today, and I'm tired. Whenever a creature or planeswalker an opponent controls is dealt excess damage. Oh, I see what they're saying. It's like, say if they have a creature that's a 1/1, and you hit it with a lightning bolt, you're doing 2 excess damage to it.
Yeah, so then you would be able to draw a card.
Okay, and it's
pretty slick, I suppose.
And especially in Izzet colors, because with Izzet is spell slinging crazy. So yeah, that's a real easy thing to do, especially like with some X spells.
Yeah, no, I would include this in my Inala, my wizard tribal deck if I had one.
Oh, there you go. And yeah, if a giant, wizard, or spell, so if it's one of your creatures that hit a creature that was smaller than it and killed it. Or yeah, obviously a spell. Like I said, lightning bolt. I just gave a great example. You would get to draw a card. Excuse me. And it's whenever it happens. So
yeah, so you could build this around multiple burn spells and, like, say, disintegrate for an extra point if you had the mana or something.
Right. Excuse me. So yeah, excuse me. Only thing that sucks is that doesn't ramp like that.
True.
And I'm only thinking about that from the giant aspect, not so much the wizard aspect.
Yeah. No, I probably think more from the wizard angle because I really like that tribal and I've always wanted a wizard tribal deck. That's why I got the Inala deck.
No, I can dig it. And like I said, in Izzet colors, spell slinging is nothing. And mess around and copy them and choose a new target for the copy. You mess around and kill two. You mess around and kill 2 creatures. You're gonna draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
As long as you're dealing at least 1 point over on the damage after when you killed them, minimum 1.
Okay. So yeah, you could run quite a few copies in there. The what was that one? The Errant Street Artist? Is that what it was? That copies?
Yes, that I finally threw in my blue deck. Might I add? I finally found a place for it, and I threw in actually like 2 more other copy cards in that deck.
Yeah.
I've even been thinking about putting telepathy in that deck because I have one. You remember?
Yeah, telepathy's always been a card that I was on the fence about.
You know,
like I don't run counter spells, so it's not quite as useful to me.
No,
unless I'm running like Demir or something.
Here's the thing: depending on who you play, they don't know what you're running.
True.
And knowing that they know, you know what's in their hand.
I know. I know.
Oh my God, you know what I meant. But yeah, they have no choice but to be leery playing around you or playing with you because they know you know what they have. So it's telepathy. So you're planning counterattacks, as we go. As a matter of fact, because I can pull that up too. Just in case anybody is out there watching that does not know what telepathy is, I can pull that up right here. Telepathy is a one blue drop enchantment. Your opponents play with their hands revealed. And we were looking up this card the other day. Dude, this card's cheap as shit.
Yep. I used to have like a dozen of these things.
I mean, I'm
pretty sure you gave them to me.
Probably. I know I've had some. I would just think that the fact that a 1-drop enchantment that lets you know what all of your opponents have, you can drop this on the first turn.
Yeah.
And know all of your opponent's opening hands.
No, I do feel that it's a very powerful card, but I think the main reason it's not as expensive is because it was in, what is that, M13, a core set where that was printed thousands upon thousands of times and an uncommon at that.
Well, this one came up M10. I don't know when we type in stuff.
Is that 10?
Yeah, I don't know.
I just couldn't see it from here, so.
And I'm just assuming that came up because maybe that was the latest print, maybe. But
Maybe, but then I
then
remember your
again,
video
it
with the
showed.
Gisela.
I thought it showed that too. What sets? Maybe I'm thinking. Maybe I'm thinking of
Familiar.
NTG Familiar.
Yeah,
But I could have.
Familiar's a bit more versatile with that kind of thing.
Right. But in any event, back to the original. Um, yeah, I can, and on some spell sling and shit, not so much the giant aspect. Maybe it just depends on the giants, but none are really coming to mind for me at the moment. Um, Wizards.
I
Oh,
have seen some giant tribal stuff. I actually think I have a few of the cards because of Kalemni, the Boros experience counter commander.
oh yeah, I remember that.
She had a semi giant tribal thing going on because she was a giant.
Right. Yeah, but you'd only be able to include one half of the color scheme in that.
True. And some of the better ones of those were actually white, so it kind of kills it.
So you're saying white is better?
No, fuck you, no racist.
But anyway, that's pretty much all I got for this. If I was to rate it as a commander, I feel like I'm right in the middle with about a 5.
Yeah, I'll go with a 5 as well.
I was gonna say you're more wizard tribal than I am, so this might speak to you some. But
I would not use this as a wizard tribal commander just because there's better options.
yeah, there definitely are.
And like with Inala, she adds in the black as well.
Right. All right.
But yeah, 5 is a good number.
All right, close that. Close this. And let's go ahead and do another one. We're actually blowing through these faster than I thought, which is actually pretty cool. Random. Oh, this one's got a little bit of text to it. Let's see. Jensen Carthalian? I'm going to go with that. As I've told you guys in other Magic videos that I make, there are times that I know I brutalize some of these names, so it is what it is. Omniscience. No, I'm just playing. Anyway, Druid.
Okay, Cobra, I had to teach you that one.
Oh my god, boy, fuck you. Druid Exile costs Celestia, green and white, so it's already a low-cost commander. Is a 2/2 legendary creature human druid. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, scry one. If that spell was all colors, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying. Create a Sarah Angel. Pay 5, tap, add Wooburg to your mana pool.
Pause.
Yes?
That was with flying and vigilance.
That's what I said.
Oh, did you?
That's what a
I
Sarah...
thought you said with flying, and then you said Sarah Avatar.
Oh, did it? Okay, it creates a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. And the comment that I threw over it was like, so basically you're creating a Sarah Angel.
Yeah. Yeah, I understood where you were going with that.
Okay, yeah, I got you. Okay, so... And it costs a Celestia, but... It's a 5-color commander because it's in that identity. So obviously, mad multicolor spells. Obviously, if you're going to be running a deck that's a shitload of multicolor spells, a good chunk of that deck is going to have to be green for ramp.
Yeah.
So that you can get your color fixing. At least that's just my opinion. Obviously,
I would say auto include on Chromatic Lantern.
Absolutely.
What's the one land that you have?
The World Tree.
World Tree. And then there's another one that does that as well. Is it Chromatic Orrery or something like that?
I've heard that name, but I'm not 100% sure what it is. Matter of fact, give us a second if we can remember those. We'll look those up. Yeah, like I said, mad multicolor spells. Yes, I agree with you on the auto include for Chromatic Lantern, which I'm going to pull up here for anybody who does not know what that is. It's a 3-drop artifact. Lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, and it also taps for 1 mana of any color. So it makes all your lands tap for whatever the hell you want or whatever the hell you need. To me, this is my personal opinion. This is an auto include for me in any deck that's 3 colors or higher.
Yeah.
For me, anyway. 2 decks, I don't think that really needs it. Maybe run a Signet or some shit. But for 3 colors or higher, for me, my opinion, this is in any of my decks that have 3 or more colors, except for Space Baby. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that conversation another day. Actually, one of the next deck videos that I'm going to have is going to be on Child of Alara. I just need to get it edited and posted. But what was the other card that you said? Oh, I said the World Tree.
Yep.
Which, yes, I love this card. It's in one of my 5-color decks. Open a new tab. The World Tree is a land. It enters the battlefield, taps for green, but as long as you control 6 or more lands you control have tap, add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. It has a third ability. You can pay double Wooburg, and I know I've said that a couple of times. Wooburg is when you pay. Wooburg is all 5 colors. For anybody who didn't know that, but you can pay double Wooburg and sacrifice the World Tree. Search your library for any number of God cards and put them onto the battlefield. That is ridiculous. Granted, I only own so few gods, but if I own more, this would be amazing. It's still amazing in the fact of its second ability alone, and that's why I have it in there. Because I'm guaranteed to get to 6 lands, and not to mention this is a land, so this counts as one of the 6. So, yeah, there you go. And you said chromatic and something that starts with an O.
Chromatic Orrery.
Oh, there it is, right there. Open a new.
I think that's what it was, anyways.
Oh well, let's find out. It's a 7-drop legendary artifact. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color. Okay. Yeah, okay. Tap and add 5 colorless. So basically you're tapping and adding 5 colors of anything you want.
Right.
And
including Wooburg.
Right. Pay 5 and tap, draw a card for each color amongst permanents you control. Hey, I do like that. I might have to look and see how much one of these is. I don't see it. I don't see it being too expensive because it's a fucking 7-drop. But
right.
Who knows? But anyway, back to the original. Yeah, obviously a bunch of multicolored spells, so you can minimum get the Scry, which it won't give you card advantage, but it'll help give you card selection because you can keep moving your shit to the bottom if that shit doesn't appeal to you.
Right. And you can aim for more of those 5-color spells, get more angels and such.
You know what would be another good thing in this? Cards that let you cast cards off the top of your library.
Yes, that would be pretty good there, yeah.
Definitely, because you can just keep putting stuff to the bottom, or whatever the case may be, until you find that one good. Oh shit, been needing that. Bam, cast that shit off the top of your library.
Hell yeah.
But here's another question. And don't get me wrong, there are some good ones, but what? That's what I'm thinking. Like, what kind of spells are you putting in here? That's all 5 colors. Because the first one I thought of was Maelstrom Nexus.
And I was trying to think of the name of that one, and yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Hopefully, I spell this right. Booyah. Again, this is just for anybody that doesn't know. I know a lot of people know these cards, but there are a lot of people that don't. Everybody was new to this game at some point. You always have to remember that. Maelstrom Nexus costs 1 of each color. It's an enchantment. The first spell you cast each turn has Cascade. Yes, I guess I'll go ahead and explain it. When you cast your first spell, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land card that costs less than the original spell that you cast. Then you may cast that spell without paying its mana cost, and then the cards that you exiled, you put on the bottom of your library in a random order. This was the first card I thought of when it said if you played any spells that cost all 5 colors. This was the first one I thought of.
You could also throw in there the one Coalition Victory.
That sounds super familiar. I want to say that's an older card. Oh,
It
there it
is. I
is.
think it's time shifted, maybe.
Oh, well, it's banned, but that's more of a play group thing.
Yep.
Because we don't care about stuff like that. We just like to play. This is just a game. We're just having fun. We're not playing in tournaments and stuff like that. We're just playing on some coffee tables and shit. So yeah, we don't care about that. But Coalition Victory costs 3 in each color. You win the game if you control a land of each basic land type and a creature of each color. Wow. So does this mean that you can just control a creature that's all 5 colors?
I believe so, yeah. A creature of each color.
And each basic land type, that's super easy now, especially because they already have the dual lands like the plains islands and the mountain forests and stuff like that. That covers 2 of your land types. But in New Capenna, they came out with the ones that have 3 basic land types.
Yeah.
Because I threw those in my Child of Alara deck.
I would imagine.
Right. Yeah, they have 3 basic land types now. So you mess around and have two of those types of lands on the board, and all 5 land types match up, and you say have something on the board that's like Child of Alara, you win the game.
Yep. Now here's another good one, and you used to run this, was Fist of Suns.
Oh yeah, I would still run Fist of Suns if I had one, but I no longer have one. Oh yes. And for anybody who played back in the day, I used to have a Sunburst deck, a 60-card Sunburst deck back when Sunburst was awesome. Sunburst can't stand up to the stuff that's out nowadays, but this card was in the deck and it almost ran the deck itself. Fist of Suns is a 3-drop artifact. You may pay 1 of each color rather than pay the mana cost for spells you cast. So yeah, and some of those spells in there did cost like 8, 9, and 10, but guess what? With this on the board, they cost 5. And yeah, I used to love that. Yeah, if I still owned this card, I would still use this. But unfortunately, I no longer have that card. Oh, there's another one. It's in my enchantment deck. It's oh man. I wonder if I should. It's the other side of Asika. Yep, there it is. Oh, no. I don't want to copy that one. I want to copy this one. Or open this one, I should say. The Prismatic Bridge. And I've used this card in my enchantment deck, and I've used both sides of it.
I've heard of this one.
Because the God side, I'll just read it off, but well, you know what? Go ahead and bring it up. Why not? This is what we're doing right now. Asika, God of the Tree, costs 1 and 2 green, is a legendary creature god. Is a 1/4 with vigilance. You can tap her or him. Sorry, everybody. And add 1 mana to your mana pool. Add 1 mana of any color. Other legendary creatures you control have vigilance and tap them. Add 1 mana of any color. Now, remember though, if this hits the board and you had another legendary creature on the board, they still have Summoning Sickness, so you wouldn't be able to tap them unless they had haste. But any stuff that you already had on the board over a turn, do you? Yeah, but I mostly like it for this side of it, because you can cast it for the Prismatic Bridge, which costs 1 of each color, is a legendary enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal cards off the top of your library until you reveal a creature or planeswalker card. Put that card onto the battlefield and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I love this side of this card.
Yeah, I could see that.
Love this, and it's in my enchantment deck, so sometimes I'll flip up some of those new those legendary enchantment creature shrines, even though shrine's not a damn creature type, fucking stupid shit. I'm fucking wizards, I'm fucking sick of you. I swear I wanted to put a bunch of changelings in that deck and just break it in half, but then they were like, no, you're not allowed to do that. I was like,
Shrines are already overpowered. They do not need to be a creature
man,
type.
Please. I was going to break the hell out of that deck, let me tell you. But anyway, yeah, I love this because, yeah, and especially if Michael Shente's on the board, I flip up one of those creature shards, And I get the shrine, and I'm going to get a shrine token.
Yeah.
And not to mention, and I'm going to do that deck probably next. It's going to be Michael Shinte enchantment deck. And like I said, this is in that deck, and I really, really like this card. But it's just like I said, it's just another card that you can cast for the 5 colors that's worth casting for 5 colors.
Right.
Okay, like I said, yeah, Matt, I'm sorry. I don't know if I was over talking you or anything like that, or if we were just in conjunction going back and forth. But did you have any takes on this that I didn't have?
No, I think we were both just going back and forth on that one. I think I spoke most of the ones I was thinking of.
I can dig it. All right, cool.
I'm sure there's some way to use this to broken effect, but I don't particularly know it. I'm pretty sure there are things that make activated abilities cost less, isn't there?
Yes.
So you could do that and end up making more mana than what you got.
Yeah, you definitely would fuck around depending on what it is. You can go infinite.
Yep, I'm sure there's some way to do so.
Yep, you can mess around and go infinite. Yep. Even if you made it that the activated ability costs 1 less, but you had a way to keep untapping it, you would keep adding that 1 mana to your mana pool every time. You can keep changing the colors that you're adding to it.
True.
That would work good with that god tree. You could immediately just pop it and just gods all over the damn board. I don't know if you've ever had a bunch of gods drop on the board at one time, but it's pretty intimidating. Especially when the majority of them are indestructible.
Is that anything like the time that Brian played Incoming?
You know what? We don't talk about that. We do not talk about that. Oh my god, that's another story for another fucking day. But yeah, that's what I got. Mad multicolored spells, ramp, things that'll make your lands tap for any color. Like we said, Chromatic Lantern is most 100% would go in this deck. Auto include all day long. I'd have to look more into it because like I said, we're pretty much freestyling this, just going off the top of our head. You know, we don't have any stats or scripts or anything pulled up. This is just 2 people who play a fun game that know how to play it and been playing it for a while, just putting our takes on stuff. Like I said, everybody plays differently. Most people's opinions are different, and that's completely fine. I wouldn't be butthurt because somebody said, no, the god tree would be horrible in this deck. Like, if you say so. You know, some shit like that. Like, okay, if that's how you feel, then that's fine. But excuse me, obviously lands that tap for any color. If somebody made a deck like this and didn't put a command tower in it, I'd rip their cards up. Yeah, like Rupture Spires and Transguild Promenades and stuff like that. Stuff that taps for any color. Definitely exotic Orchid. So you can at least take the mana of whatever your opponents are using. It's going to benefit you either way.
Yeah.
Arcane Signet for sure. And what's there's the Fell War Stone does the same thing as Exotic Orchid.
I was just trying to think of that one. Yep.
Yeah, does the exact same thing, but it's an artifact instead of a land.
Technically, I would say that Mana Rock Heavy might not be a terrible idea for this deck, because you could use that to pay the 5 on your commander.
Yeah.
And plus any commander tax, for that matter.
Yeah, true. I mean, granted, the tax on this wouldn't be too bad. It would depend on how many times this thing got murdered.
I'm just assuming that most of your other cards probably have colors or multiple colors more than colorless mana needed or any.
Oh yeah, because another 2 card that I would think to run in this deck is Sterling Grove.
Yeah, I could see that.
Privileged Position. Yeah.
I don't recall that one.
Oh yeah, the card's awesome, man. Last I checked, it was like $20, but I got one I don't know how much it is now.
I recognize the art.
Yeah, Privileged Position costs 2 and 3 Celestia hybrids. It's an enchantment. Other permanents you control have hexproof. So, another good little way to protect your command. Actually, it would protect all your other permanents. So, if somebody went to go do some targeted removal, they'd have to remove this first.
Yep. And that is why I recognize the art, is because I have had to do that to your board before.
Oh, yeah. No doubt. And then the other one that I feel goes with that card, accidentally, is Sterling Grove. Because green and a white is an enchantment. Other enchantments you control have Shroud. So obviously, if you have both of those on the board, the Privileged Position is giving the Sterling Grove hexproof. The Sterling Grove is giving your Privileged Position Shroud. Targeted removal is completely out of the question.
Yeah.
Granted, it does have a second ability, and I have used this in a pinch if I absolutely have had to do it. But pay 1 and sacrifice Sterling Grove, search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, then shuffle, and put that card on top. And let me tell you, if I pop that ability, I'm probably about to kill you.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I've seen you use that in combo before as well. And just constantly pop it and then get it back, and then pop it and then get it back. And
yeah, that's definitely possible. Just something that just keeps returning enchantments to your hand constantly. It's just like, yep, I'm going to do that again. Yep, I'm going to do that again. And pretty much just stack the top of your deck with all the enchantments that you need, you know. And yeah. But to bring this back down, if I had to give this a rating, because I do like it. I do like it. But I would still have to give it about a 6.
I'll take it a step higher to 7, just because of how open-ended it is. You could build any number of decks around this thing.
Yeah, that's true. You really could. You really could. My only thing is that, if you're building around this commander in particular, man, you have to put a bunch of multicolored spells in here.
Yeah.
And sometimes too many multicolored spells is a problem. That's probably why it has pay the 5 and add Wooburg. Because sometimes you get stuck. You'll mess around and have the green and the white to play your commander, but now you're getting the swamp, and now you're pulling islands, but you mess around and never find that red mana.
Yeah.
So I can see that's why they put the pay 5 whatever and add one of each color, because then you can still color fix, but only that one time.
Right.
So hopefully that'll do something for you to help you get more mana or something.
True.
But
technically, it's 5 colors. I could see you playing a Seething Song and getting 5 colors out of that.
That's very true. I did not even think of it that way. Because I had to think, like, what are you talking about? And then I had to remember what Seething Song was. And for those that don't know, he has a very good point. Seething Song is an instant that costs 2 and a red. Add 5 red to your mana pool. And don't get me wrong, I'm aware that I just used an example saying that what if you didn't have mountains, but this is just a different example. This is how you bounce ideas off of each other, which is completely fine. He does have a good point that say if you did have the red mana, but say you were missing some other mana, you can mess around and play this, add the 5, and you can pop that ability off and get Wooburg out of it. So he has a very good point.
Yeah. Although, by the same token, Seething Song is a singular colored spell and does nothing for your commander synergy, but...
That's true. But, hey, this is why we're here. We bounce ideas. If anybody out there has any ideas, please comment them. That's completely fine. That's what it's about. Everybody bouncing ideas off of everybody about a game. Keep in mind the key word is just a game, so people calm down sometimes. It's just a game. But yeah, people bouncing ideas off of each other, having different opinions. There's completely nothing wrong with that. But all right, I think that's gonna do it for today. We'll just stop it here. We'll work on more videos in the future, doing the exact same thing, just coming back to EDHREC, hitting random, and just talking about our opinions on, what we can possibly build around or do with the decks.
Yeah,
And
I'm
Jesus.
down.
No. Yeah, indeed. And shut up. Yeah, that's it. Now I'm stammering at this point, so I'll leave it with on to the next time when we have time. Hope you guys enjoy this. Please, the like, comment, subscribe thing, all that. If you're enjoying the content, please let me know. Please comment. I talk back. That's what I keep trying to get people to understand. I talk back. I'm not one
I
of these
wipe my own ass.
Right. I'm not one of these people who have millions of followers and I can't read all my comments. No. I'm in the 40s. I can read every comment and comment back. But all right then. Peace, y'all.
Later.